In the dimly lit hallways of the endless house, young Ethan wandered, his footsteps echoing through the never-ending maze. The walls seemed to shift and change, their textures morphing from wood to cold steel and then to decaying wallpaper. It was a place where time and space melded together in eerie harmony. It had all started innocently enough. One evening, Ethan had discovered an old book in the attic, buried beneath a pile of forgotten memories. The cover was tattered, its pages filled with a handwritten account of a house that defied logic and reality. It was the story of a place that seemed to expand infinitely, with rooms and corridors that led to places both wondrous and nightmarish. The book's pages were filled with drawings, sketches, and footnotes, as if its author had been driven to madness by the very house it chronicled. Unable to resist the pull of curiosity, Ethan began to read. The words drew him in, like a moth to a flame. He couldn't stop himself from delving deeper into the narrative, even as the text twisted and turned, leading him down a rabbit hole of uncertainty and fear. One night, as Ethan read a particularly chilling passage, he heard a faint whisper in the room. It was a voice, soft and haunting, like a distant echo. "Help me," it pleaded, sending shivers down his spine. Ethan couldn't ignore the call. He felt compelled to follow it, even though he knew it was a voice from the pages of the book. He closed the book and set off into the labyrinthine corridors of the house. At first, he thought he could find his way back easily, but the hallways stretched on endlessly, and the walls seemed to close in on him. As Ethan ventured deeper into the house, he encountered rooms that defied all logic. One had walls covered in mirrors, reflecting his own image 1,000 times over. Another room was filled with clocks, all ticking out of sync, creating a disorienting cacophony of time. Each step he took led him further away from the world he knew, and deeper into the heart of the endless house. Days turned into weeks, and Ethan lost all sense of time. He subsisted on what little food he could find in abandoned kitchens and drank water from murky faucets. Sleep became a luxury he could barely afford, as the house's strange architecture seemed to play tricks on his mind. The whispers continued, growing louder and more insistent. They echoed through the walls, telling tales of other lost souls who had ventured into the house and never returned. Ethan couldn't escape their haunting words, and he knew he had to find the source of the voices. One night, as he wandered through a corridor that seemed to spiral endlessly, Ethan came across a door unlike any he had seen before. It was ornate and grand, standing out in stark contrast to the dilapidated surroundings. As he pushed it open, he stepped into a room bathed in an eerie, otherworldly light. In the center of the room, a figure stood, its back turned to him. It was the source of the whispers. The figure turned slowly, revealing a face that was both familiar and deeply unsettling. It was Ethan himself, but older and worn, as if he had been trapped in the house for an eternity. "You've come," the older Ethan said, his voice a mournful echo. "I've been waiting for you." Ethan was overcome with a sense of dread and recognition. This was his future, a future trapped in the endless house. He had become a part of the very story he had read in the book. Desperation filled him as he realized the truth. He could never leave the house. He was doomed to wander its corridors for all eternity, just like the others before him. The house had claimed him, body and soul. As the older Ethan reached out a hand, a chilling realization washed over the young boy. He was now the one whispering for help, his voice joining the chorus of lost souls trapped within the endless house. The house continued to shift and change, its walls closing in on Ethan. He was just another page in the book, another story to be added to its ever-expanding narrative. And as the endless house swallowed him whole, the echoes of his desperate cries for help reverberated through its twisted corridors, a chilling reminder of the house's insatiable hunger for lost souls.